Standing by. Gentlemen, thank you. Yes, looking forward to this women's final. And Jeff McGilvray is our marker for Choi v Hankin, Canada and England. And it's England to roll away. An excellent backhand draw to start from Doreen Hankin. Shirley Choi from Canada. Born in Macau, but now a resident of Vancouver, Canada, and has been for many years. Well, Shuey, form is always a good guide when we try and make an assessment one way or the other at the start of a contest. Faultless. 6-0, both players to get to the World Cup final. There were 4 pool games for qualifying and then sudden death quarterfinals and semi-finals. So obviously the fact that these players are in the final, they've won those sudden death rounds, the quarters and the semis, but in the 4 pool matches, both Shirley Choi and Doreen Hankin had 4-0 records.
Yes, and winning form is good form. I just think the experience of Doreen will help enormously in this final. And the disappointment also of missing 3 Commonwealth Games, where she was in that Commonwealth Games train-on squad for England, hoping to play. Big opportunity here. She skips for England, so she can play the conversion shots very well.
Bit of a target there for Shirley Choi with the 2 shots from Hankin grouped together. And just well, I think it was more just a reaffirming trot down the rink. She had a pretty good idea of what she was thinking about, Shirley Choi. Just got a bit closer, thought, yes, that's the right idea.
Well, she could trail the jack for 3 shots, but being 2 down and not having a bowl within 1.5 meters of the jack, tactically you need to draw close, minimise the damage.
Just a little narrow.
Well, she's trying to trail the jack for 3, but that's what you need to ask yourself. What happens if I miss? That's allowing Doreen plenty of room to perhaps draw a 3rd shot and also cover the potential danger. So she might switch here, Doreen, to the forehand and just go behind the jack and the count. Staying on the backhand side. Obviously just leaving that danger. See the 3 white disc bowls below the jack. I mean, if the jack comes left of screen, she's in big trouble, Doreen, but at the moment she's holding 3, but in danger of dropping 3. This is a big shot for Shirley Choi coming up now. 3 down. She could score 3, maybe 4 shots.
Certainly an interesting proposition before the Canadian in the first end of this final.
It's worth the risk because 2 of the counters are very close to the jack. Well, she's switching to the forehand.
Just have to take the chance.
Well, a little miffed as to what she hopes to achieve off the forehand. Maybe just get a slide off those 2 bowls, but it's narrow again. So narrow on the backhand, narrow on the forehand, and Doreen Hankin, as she did in the semi-final, picks up a big count first end of the match. She picks up 3. That's quite extraordinary because she played Grace Chu in the semi-final and actually picked up a count of 4. And let's have a look at how she got her flyer in the semi. Very similar, a couple of handy backhand draws. That's glaringly similar, isn't it? With a couple of those bowls grouped just on her left as she looked down the rink. Perfect start for the Englishwoman. It looks like she's made a decision, Shuey, to play that, well, as she looks at the right-hand side of the rink, Doreen Hankin, Shirley Choi, 53 years of age.
Yeah, I was really surprised that Shirley did not persist on the backhand with the last bowl on the previous end. She had a big chance to make 4 herself. Switched to the forehand without having played it in the match. But bounced back and drawn the shot.
Fine opener as we have a look at the 2 grips.
Yeah, we'll see the Doreen has more the thumb on the right on the top of the bowl, and also the fingers down the side for Doreen on the right. Quite contrasting styles. The wrist is much more relaxed for Doreen. Very important tip for all players: if you keep the wrist movement to a minimal when you're delivering a bowl. So biggest traps for controlling weight if you start to get a bit flicky with your wrist.
That ball is just level. Last
Your
ball.
ball?
Yeah, last ball, yeah.
That far behind.
Behind. Okay. Thank you.
Just asking for a bit of a visual guide from Jeff McGilvray, wanting to know how far Doreen Hankin's last bowl was behind Jack. And just, well, good line. Too much juice. Handy crowd has gathered at Warilla. They've really embraced this World Cup event.
This is where Doreen's experience as an England skip is coming to the fore. She's switching now to the backhand, knowing that she's a little bit overweight and touched the jack. She has 2 receptive bowls, could score 3. Just trying to draw, getting used to the backhand line. Still 1 down. 3 seconds. Very important here for Shirley to draw a second shot, because Doreen will be attacking the shot bowl with some amount of weight.
Well, doesn't look like that's really going to threaten too much.
A big
How
opportunity.
far is that down, please?
Stacked
Is it
in the
yard?
stands.
Your bowl or the shot bowl?
Yeah.
Your bowl's that far.
1 down, 2, maybe 3 seconds. Backhand, narrow line. Take the bowl out. But no, it's forehand.
Well, it doesn't seem to be the most positive of body language from Doreen Hankin as she let that one go.
No, I don't think she had any idea what she was hoping to achieve there, Quinn. And take the bowl out in the forehand, but it's short of the jack. So coming in from the right-hand side was a much better option. And Shirley has 1 to play, and she's going for a stroll.
Needs to try and make this 2 after dropping 3 on the first end.
Well, she's conceding. Oh, she's just realised. I think she's got 1 to play. She said 1 and then just put her hand up and said, "Oh, hang on, I've got 1 back up at the mat."
I didn't even know what I was doing.
Well, the pressure certainly can have an effect in a final.
We just heard Doreen say to Jeff McGilvray, "I didn't know what I was doing with that last bowl." So a few nerves for both players.
I really want to turn that other bowl in for 2.
I was having a bit of a natter about it, ruining the lost opportunity. Shirley Choi now can, after all that, realising I've got 1 to bowl, I can turn 1 into 2. Looks like she's just left it out on a limb too much, diving in late but never really threatening. So just the 1 to Shirley Choi, but good news for Canada, the maple leaf on the board. England by 2 after 2 ends, and Shirley Choi went all the way to the tiebreak against Malaysia's Shima Ismail in the semi-final and played this magnificent backhand draw, which was ultimately the winning bowl. That got it to this point, the final. And as we see, I think characteristically for most of the women's players here at the World Cup, deciding to keep the mat when they've got the right to choose whether or not they'll bowl first or last. Two played, England by 2.
Shirley has brought the mat up a couple of metres and rolled the jack a couple of metres from the tee. There's a 29-metre length. And leading off on her backhand, and that's a fine opening bowl. Unusual stance on the mat there, 1 foot on, 1 off, and the right toe seems to be pointing straight up the line. Generally for right-handers you would point your right toe where the bowl is heading off to, not where you want it to finish. Good weight from Doreen. That's a good opening bowl. You can see that, look at the right foot, it's pointing over the actually left of the line towards where the camera is, so that's very unusual technique. Of course, on the outdoor greens in England, the line is not as such a delicate requirement as we have on fast greens or indoor surfaces. Just looking at Doreen again, heading off out to the left, but the right toe is actually pointing to the right-hand side of the centre line. Very unusual setup.
Still 1 to Shirley Choi. Interesting body language on display throughout this contest. Just get the feeling that Doreen Henkin doesn't really exude a confident aura when she's out on the rink.
No, she actually lacks, and you can hear the comments there to Jeff, and we saw that in the semi-final as well, Quentin. She appears to almost lack confidence, and that's surprising for a skip of a national team. Very unassuming, on the other hand, Shirley. You never know what Shirley's thinking. She's a gritty, determined type of player, Shirley Choi. Born in Macau, and
this looks a little bit better, chasing it down. And that's why. Excellent bowl. Does it stick around long enough? I think it's still 1 to Canada.
this was Jeff McGilvray. He's not raising any lollipops. It could be a measure all round. Well, there's the rings, and it certainly looks like the bowl above the jack.
Yes, it's a 1 to Shirley Choi.
So that opening bowl of Shirley's was just short of the jack. Still holding shot.
And a bit of space if she can find a successful backhand draw here. Important to try and take a double. She's trailing by 2 on the scoreboard, holding 1 on the head and makes it 2. Well played, Shirley Choi. Got a friendly nudge. Doreen Henkin with 1 to play.
Well, she's 2 down. There's 2 shots on Quentin. She could trail the jack on the forehand. I think it's better to play through the short bowls, get the split off that inside edge and run through onto the jack. She's played 3 bowls on the backhand, knows the line very well. But no, it's forehand.
Chasing it down.
No.
No, she doesn't like it. I'll take your word for it, Doreen. And you're right.
2.
Yeah.
So, after Hankin took 3 on the first end, Shelley Troy strikes back with a count of a 1 and a 2, and after 3 it's tied at 3.
Just having a look at Shirley Choi. It's delivery, quite a crouched stance, and the left hand not balanced on the knee, and drops the bowl, pulls the left hand across the body. Very unusual technique, quite unique. And looking from the overhead, the bowl comes back well, and see how the roll of the wrist and the palm and the arm goes out to the left. Not the ideal follow through, but very effective at times.
It's the 3 threes. 3 to Canada, 3 to England, 3 ends played.
One thing I like about Shirley Choi, Quentin, she's quite unflappable. She looks standing back very politely with her hands behind the back saying, oh yeah, that's a pretty good opening bowl. It's a brilliant opening bowl. She just, technically she does not look like a top player, but gee, she's got a fantastic attitude to the game, and obviously what's going on inside the head is all working for Shirley Choi. She could actually get Doreen a little bit rattled here. Doreen Hankin's an experienced international player. She would never have even come across Shirley anywhere in international competition, and now it's 3-all. After, on the first end, you know, Shirley never had a bowl within 2 metres of the jack. And so this is why, technically, this is what happens. Occasionally there's bowls metres away, but just because of her natural talent, she has the ability to also draw close to the jack.
Well, almost in opposite city council regions, the first 2 bowls for Shirley Choi. One's here at Warilla and another one's a bit north up at Wollongong, perhaps, as Hankin swallows the jack and is gone from 1 down to 2 up. And that's the kind of shot we'd come to expect from an experienced international skip.
Yes, that's right, Quentin, and that's what Shirley at this stage hasn't learned, how to play those shots consistently well. She's under the pump now. Needs to clear the short bowl.
Arriving with some juice. Oh, just misses the jack.
It's a good attempt.
Can I come up?
Any contact would have, you think, if it was really faint, it might have still been shot for Doreen Hankin, but if she got a decent piece of it, Shirley Choi would have been able to go from 2 down to 1 up. As brief scoot down the rink for Doreen Hankin just to assess the head.
I think we'll see plenty of multiple counts in this match, and there's the reason why. Look at some of the bowls, they're far and wide away from the jack, and at the moment Doreen's holding 2. Shouldn't have much trouble drawing a 3rd. Well, she's just drawn the shot beautifully on the backhand. Now switches to the forehand.
Line looks narrow, but good enough for 3 shots.
Not like where I wanted it, wasn't it? You know it isn't.
I think she's probably just affirming what we were thinking, Shuey.
Stop that little run in there.
Well, I'm sure Doreen's not aware that she's got a microphone on, and I'm sure our viewers are pleased that the players have agreed to wear the microphones. It certainly gives us an insight into their thinking, and Doreen, she's almost apologetic to the marker, Jeff McGilvray.
Oh, it takes you at home right onto the rink. Terrific experience if you don't know the game that well to learn more about it, or if you're a keen club bowler, you can hear the thoughts and the tactics. Pick things up for the next time you head down to the club. Here's some aggression from Shirley Choi.
What do you think?
Looking to scatter the bowl. She'll need luck, but never really had the right line for a moment. Threatened to hit the bowl at 1 o'clock at the top of the head and could have scattered things around, but now Doreen Hankin has got a chance to make a count of 4. This is a big moment in the first set of a final, Shuey. 3 on the first, her lead's been reeled in, and now she can take a full count.
I mentioned there'd be a few multiple counts. This is the biggest one of all coming up. Doreen, really, she should add a 4th. Sometimes this is where inexperienced players fail. They just ease off mentally. And
looks handy if it finds the break. It's 4. A full count for England. And the big moment has been seized by the experienced Englishwoman Doreen Hankin. I'll wander down and just confirm with Jeff McGilvray. And almost enough blue lollipops there to start a candy shop as Hankin goes 7-3 ahead.
yes, well, Doreen Hankin with her second bowl. This was a telling shot. Trails the jack away from Shirley Choi's bowl for 2. Then adds a 3rd on the forehand. And really consolidating with a full count, her 4th bowl.
Well, we've seen a count of 1, a count of 2, a count of 3 and a count of 4 through 4 ends. Good news for England. They've taken 2 of the big counts, the 3 and the 4 in the first and the 4th. That sees Doreen Hankin with a lead of 4. And I suppose, Shuey, you'd expect perhaps a little bit of well, inconsistency early on, being such a big stage. Nerves jangling, crowd close, cameras assessing every move.
Yeah, although I think one of the biggest things that upsets the concentration of players can be the microphone and the transmitter on the back. I mean, it certainly does give our viewers an insight into their thought processes, but the first time you actually wear that on your apparel, it can be quite disconcerting. And you're right, the big stage, a lot of missed opportunities for Doreen Hankin in the past in terms of major titles and representative honours, but today I don't think she'll make any mistakes.
Well, it just has to be her time, doesn't it, Shuey? And you just wonder whether it will be a positive or a negative. You mentioned she's been close to Commonwealth Games selection on a number of occasions, but failing to get to that Mount Everest of bowls. Certainly it's the most prestigious tournament for Commonwealth countries. Can she draw away from that, I suppose, history of disappointment and now think, well, this is my time, I deserve this, I've been a top player for many years and I need to show the world that
Is that a weight? Is that a length?
I've done a good job for a long time for my country.
Which one?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
They're far behind.
Having said that, Shirley Choi, Quentin, I mean, in her semi-final match, she was playing the red-hot favourite, Shima Ismail from Malaysia. So Shirley has certainly showed enough, and that was her first time on television. So, you know, she showed a lot of ticker in that match, and we saw earlier that fine draw shot she played on the 3rd end of the tiebreaker. And she'll no doubt relax as the match goes on. She's holding 1. See how the left hand it just floats out in the breeze a bit and always steps back onto the mat. Always better to step forward after delivering the bowl. Stay down for 2 or 3 seconds, preferably, and then step forward. Keep the body momentum going forward. Really, it's a bad habit to get into, is to step back after a delivery.
It's like most sports. You think of tennis or golf or cricket when you're playing your stroke, trying to get your body to go through the line of the intended trajectory. So we think of the great flourish of a cover drive and the arms following through the flight of the ball, or think of a Roger Federer forehand, Shuey. Feet in the right position and a beautiful glide through the path of the tennis ball.
You commentate at Wimbledon often, Quentin, and as you know, that these days footwork's almost gone out the door. The ball,
a bit different in
the ball
tennis
comes
now,
over the net that quickly. It's just a tilt of the shoulders and swivel of the hips, and away you go with a lot of shoulder turn.
Well, still, when you're volleying Shuey, you've got to be in good body position. Although At the French Open, you can see a lot of the Spaniards and Argentinians in the clay just in the air on the back foot, driving a forehand down the line. But still, Gustavo Curtin's still got that front foot forward and played that lovely one-handed backhand. But back to the bowls.
And Shirley's on the forehand. Much better foot set up for Shirley. See how the weight goes back onto the mat, steps back. She's holding one just, I think, at the moment. It's close for the shot. Needs to skirt the front bowl and slow down. That's not counting, but very handy. So that's the last bowl on this end, and it looks like just one to Shirley Choi.
But an important one, that's for sure, after conceding a full count the previous end. Interesting contest, with England leading by 3 after 5.
Yeah.
Just looking at Doreen's grip and see on there how her index finger is down the side of the bowl and the thumb also up near the running surface. It would be better for the thumb a little bit lower and the index finger underneath, outside the rings. It's an unusual grip, Doreen Hankin.
Choi decides to dictate the length of a wobbly roll of the jack, but she wants to play her length here in the 6th end. Well, intriguing is probably one word that comes to mind to describe the opening stages of this women's final. Choi with 3 of the 5 ends, but only counts of 1, 2 and 1 compared to the big counts of Hankin, which gives her the lead of 3. And well, maybe it's not the best reflection of who's in form out of the rink, the scoreboard at the moment, Shuey, because 3 ends to 2 for Choi, and another nice opener there. Finds the jack.
Yeah, brilliant opener. Resting toucher, Quentin, and she's just got that mental toughness, Shirley Choi, that just when you think she's going to cave in, she bounces back, and if anything, Doreen appears to be the one that sort of lacks the confidence. Just come forward off the mat that time, Shirley, and again, see, that's the inconsistency with the technique. Whatever you do, do it over and over and over again and groove the delivery. And it'd be almost impossible to put down the same bowl with a different technique. You just look at Shirley steps out, and this time coming forward off the mat, and that is a better technique. Doreen playing with a little bit of weight to rest the bowl or trail the jack. Contact, out it goes, but still one down. Doreen Hankin.
Up or down? 10.
Shirley Choi just asking our marker.
So this was the first bowl of the end. Second bowl she came forward, and see now back. So a lot of players think, well, once the bowl's gone it doesn't matter, but it certainly does in terms of grooving consistency and grouping bowls near the jack one after the other. Now Shirley's on the forehand and sent that bowl out far too wide.
But still 1 for Canada. Hankin with 2 to play.
Doreen Hankin switching to the backhand, trying to promote her short bowl toward the shot bowl or the jack.
Narrow and never threatening. And a little wild, really, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I guess she'll go up and explain to Jeff McGilvray what went wrong there. It's always good to have a talk to the market, just relax the nerves, see if we can pick up any conversation here.
Yep.
God. Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
It's a bit rubbish, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit, Doreen, but it's okay. You've got another one.
Forget about it. 1 to play.
Yeah, and that's an important tip for all bowlers. Just forget about a bowl and correct on it. Don't beat yourself up mentally. Very frustrating game for those viewers do not play the game. It looks easy until you try.
And Shirley Choi is trying for a second, but can't add to her count with her last bowl of the 6th end, so there's 1 to play. It's Hankin of England leading by 3 on the scoreboard, but down 1 on the head.
Sorry, Quentin. The shot now for Shirley, you just tried to change one of the 2 criteria. She was narrow. She could either play the same weight with a wider line or the same line with more weight. Don't change 2 variables when you can only get away with changing 1. She's taken a wider line.
Needs to take bias, not diving in quickly enough. So it's just 1 for Shirley Choi, and this is quite intriguing. Choi now with 4 of 6 ends, but still trailing by 2. Hankin, courtesy of some big counts, leads at 7-5.
Yeah, it's fine.
Doreen Hankin looking on the backhand here, and look at the head goes down and really bends from the hips, not the back knee. Shortish step.
Thank you.
9 end sets at the Warilla World Cup, and there's 3 remaining in the first of the women's final here, with Shirley Choi. You get the feeling from that scoreboard playing a little better, but courtesy of a couple of bad ends and some good scoring from her opponent, finds herself still a couple behind. So despite 7-5 on the scoreboard, Shuey just suggests the lady from Surrey needs to really knuckle down here.
Yeah, she just cannot put Shirley away, and I think the longer this match goes, and if she's not going to wrap up this first set on this end or the next end, my money's on Shirley, because she showed that gritty determination that champions have, and it's just a shame in a way that she's so inconsistent, Shirley. 6 months with a top coach, and Shirley Choi, well, she could be anything. She's got prodigious talent.
I can hear the coach in you speaking here, Shirley.
Well, she's mentally tough. I like what I see with Shirley, but you know, technically there's a lot of things that can improve. That's a very good correction. The experience coming to the fore now. I mean, just 1 hour.
Jet level or behind or in front?
Behind.
Okay, thank you.
It's a shame, really. The Canadian Bowling Association, they do not have the funds to employ professional coaches, and again, the weight all coming back, almost apologetic. So, oh, woo up, woo, stop. And with some good coaching, surely. Look, here she comes again. Sprayed the last bowl. She's going to draw the shot. What a magnificent bowl.
That's tremendous stuff. A resting toucher. Well, just touched it and then leaned back a little. So, I suppose if you want to be completely technical about it, didn't rest right on the jack, but to all intents and purposes, the terminology best describes that last bowl from Shirley Choi, and now some aggression from Doreen Hankin, and she's left her controlled weighted backhand narrow. Wasn't a full out drive, and as the ladies go and have a look, just to finish on that point, you're almost like an investor who's seen the best house on a bad street and you just want to get in there and renovate and just think this could be really something.
Yeah, well, I think even 1 hour with Shirley, you know, she could probably improve 20 or 30% in just 1 hour. Just to straighten out a couple of technical flaws, and she's shown enough. And like, go back to her semi-final clash with Shima Ismail. Shima's a full-time professional player, has been for 12 years, and this housewife from Vancouver. She's got what's going on inside the head, we'll never know, but she's got something special, that just that will to win, that determination, and as all champions have. And it's I don't think this will be the last time we see Shirley Choi on the international stage. Stands well back on the mat too, and that tends to encourage overstepping. Normal walking step is the ideal, and see that's probably about 6 inches too long a step. Again, that upsets the weight control, and that's why Shirley is sometimes heavy, sometimes narrow, and often short.
Her last bowl of the 7th end, holding one, but down by 2 on the scoreboard. And now Doreen Henkin has a few quandaries going through her mind.
Well, she's only really got to win one of this end, and I think she's an England skip, Queen, and she's used to playing conversion shots. I think she'll put this bowl out, swoop through that gap on the forehand, dislodge the shot bowl, or trail the jack. She played backhand weight previously, but I think we'll see now forehand weight. This is the type of shot that a top international skip in team events is used to playing. She hasn't looked like really making one today with firm weight.
That's too much weight to take the bias to zero into the target, so quite extraordinary that now it's 5 ends to 2 in favour of Shirley Choi, but Doreen Henkin still leads 3 single counts in a row for the Canadian, but still England by 1 with 2 to play in the first. Put your coaching goggles on, Shuey.
Yeah, well, I don't like the stance. There's too much pressure on the lower back, and the weight goes early and a very long step. Left hand needs to be on the knee. Shoulders a little bit too far forward, but despite all those inconsistencies with technique and the weight goes back instead of forward, she's a great player.
Choi's won the past 3 ends. And it's only a 1-shot lead now for Doreen Henkin.
Be very interesting. Another single here, Quentin, to Shirley. I think Doreen Henkin would be feeling the pressure. Very good weight. 45 centimetres narrow. This is where the pressure kicks in. Second last end. Players are not that experienced playing sets play. And see, when you get a little nervous, you tend to drop short, you tense up. And maybe that's what's happening now to Doreen. She's lost the last 3 ends. In fact, she's lost 5 of the last 6 ends. And still leads the set.
Yes, looks handy.
That's 2 shots, so she could actually go into the last end of the first set. Shirley Choi leading. Pressure now on Doreen.
Hasn't really changed her demeanour though. Still seems to be
Now
quite composed on the rink.
Way overcorrection for weight though, Quentin. Just needed to find a couple of rolls of the bowls. And added on 4 metres. So could the effective rate, Shirley Choi, she's pretty low in terms of being effective, but now she's on track here for a full count of 4. She's holding 2.
Similar type of delivery to her last.
And see, as the match gets tighter, Shirley's concentration actually improves. So that's 3 shots. So this is a huge bowl coming up now for Doreen, because if she fails here, it's always much, much more difficult with your last bowl if you're 4 down.
And she chases it down.
Adrenaline pumping. She'd be hoping to miss the front bowl.
Might be swatted away, but
saved 1.
minimises count. Is it 1 or 2?
It's 2 at the moment, Quentin. Our rings confirm that.
Good call. So, as the head lies, Choi's in the lead.
Bowled in the way, really.
But there are still 2 bowls to play in the 8th end.
Oh, she's looking for some advice off Jeff McGilvray, the marker. Not allowed. No reason for Shirley to change, Quentin. Up here on the backhand, if she could just touch the jack, she'd bring this bowl into the count for 4. You don't try to trail the jack, you just say, well, I'll just draw without dropping short. And a very deliberate setup. She's played her most consistent 3 bowls in a row of the match. Can this be number 4? Holding 2, looking very good. Maybe a touch overweight. Yep, a missed opportunity.
With that being said, she holds 2, and the pressure is now on Doreen Hankin. After leading from the outset, she has to play a good bowl here or she will fall behind in the penultimate end of the first set.
Yeah, this is a problem bowl, Quinn. If she tries to avoid that in the forehand, she runs the risk of being too narrow. It might be better to come in on this angle. Open backhand draw.
She's setting up for backhand.
She's got no reference, though, from the previous bowl. That's the problem.
Important moment for both competitors. Choi, as it stands, is in the lead, but the resting place of this bowl could change it. Too much pace. And Shirley Choi, for the first time in the final, goes to the lead. Just double checking with Jeff McGilvray at the head. Clear 2 to us. And yeah, Doreen Hankin's happy with that. So finally, Shirley Choi's dominance on the green is reflected in the scoreboard. For the first time, she's in front. 8-7, but it's only a lead of 1. It's going right down to the 9th end of the first set.
Shirley Choi, first bowl of the end, perfect weight. The second bowl correcting the line, just marginally overweight. And then the third bowl, perfect line, again just marginally overweight. So good consistent bowling, Shirley Choi.
Pressure situation for the final end of the first set. Shirley Choi, though, has the momentum. She's won the last 4 ends. Finally, she's in front on the scoreboard and is looking to seal the first set of this, the Senior World Cup final. But in conjunction here at Warilla with the Senior World Cup finals, that's an excellent backhand draw to start for Shirley Choi. The under-25s have been played as well, and it's a familiar name on the trophy for Australia, and Steve Robilliard's managed to track her down.
Lindsay Armitage, you won back-to-back World Youth Championships. It's quite an achievement on the back of Commonwealth Games gold.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. That was a couple of days ago now, and sort of was really happy to come here and defend my title. And as you said, especially after the Com Games, that was such a high, and to sort of come down and win this one as well is pretty good.
I want to ask you about that. All the excitement and celebration after Commonwealth Games. How do you sort of refocus?
It's always in the back of your mind, that you've just won the gold medal. It was only about a month ago now, so you just got to sort of wipe that out when you're out there playing. It's a completely different game indoors. Once you get your line and your length, that's pretty much it. Just get in a bit of a rhythm and focus on the game at hand. Take it one game at a time.
Singles here for you, pairs in Melbourne with Karen. Do you have a favoured format?
Oh, yes and no. They're 2 completely different games. I like the pairs. I like having Kenzie on the other end. She's really supportive, and she's great to play with. And sort of, if you're in a bit of a hole, you can sort of get your partner to get you out. But also in singles, you're out there on your own. You've got to do it on your own, and it's just 2 completely different games. I'm not really in favour of either one at the moment. They've both worked out all right for me.
They have, and it's been a great 2006. Just finally, Lindsay, what's critically ahead for you this year?
We've got a couple of international tournaments. We've got in a couple of weeks here at Warilla again, the international series for the 3rd year in a row. We're playing Scotland and New Zealand. So that's the next international. Then we've got a lot of state events in round robin side series and a few test matches, and it's pretty full on at the moment.
Well, you're going to be busy, and keep up the form you've been in. You'll have a whale of a year. Well done.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Well, to coin a phrase, Shuey, she's on a roll. Lindsay Armitage,
Yeah.
winning at the Commonwealth Games. And
Speaking of rolling, look at those 4 bowls.
well, it has been quite extraordinary. We've almost needed the compass at times to find the opening bowls of these players throughout the first set. And when
Look at Shirley
it
Joy,
comes
she's
to
smiling.
the moment of truth, the best bowls has been produced.
Yeah, and I think, look at Shirley, she's been to the head, she's still got no idea what to play. She's holding, it looks at that angle, she's holding shot. Jeff McGilvray, our marker, he's not holding up any lollipops. That's from the mat end. It certainly looks like Shirley's bowl behind the jack. There's a gap between the jack and Doreen's bowl. The best end of the match, the last end of the first set.
Does that help the equation or make it more
Worse.
difficult? That shot from right above the head. It is a really tight call.
This will tell us something. If Shirley keeps away from the head, we know she's holding. If she plays in toward the jack, she's probably one down. Well, it's behind.
Oh, it's seemed a very stern and focused stride up the rink from Doreen Henkin.
Oh, Jeff's gone for a lollipop. What colour is it going to be? It's one to Shirley Choi.
Thanks, Jeff, helping us out.
So she's holding the first set after, at one stage, trailing 7-3. She's fought back and won the last 4 ends and now holding the set lie.
Oh, not that. Haven't got the green.
Well, no need to add any more, I think. Doreen Henkin summed it up, but she still has one chance. A very tight call, but it's one white lollipop. Choi holding the first set, and she strides to the mat for her last. And as you mentioned, Shui, quite interesting. She probably deserves to win the first set. She's won 6 of the 8 ends. Doreen Henkin has been leading throughout because of a couple of big counts in the first and the fourth, but deserving to win a set of bowls, and winning a set of bowls sometimes aren't even in the same family tree.
She won't know what to do here. Keep well away. That would be my advice to Shirley. But Doreen Henkin could take the shot bowl out for a count of 2, so she can actually... But not sure what the best decision is. Shirley's only lost 2 ends. Of the 8 played, a 3 and a 4. They were big scoring ends. They're just keeping a conservative line. Well, it's coming back. That's okay, just behind.
So it comes to 1 bowl for Doreen Henkin. It's such a tight call, but ultimately
She needs
the fate is hers, Shui.
She needs 1 for a tie, Quen, and 2 for a win. She'll be trying to get the outside edge and just turn that bowl out for 1 and maybe move into the jack for 2. It's a tough shot given the fact that she's set down.
But certainly there is potential for her to win it, not only draw level. Nothing can be done now. It's on its way, and if that's any indication, it's not going to threaten. Shirley Choi, a well-played first set. Struggled to really assert her authority on the scoreboard, but has won 7 of the 9 ends to take the lead in the Women's World Cup final. Canada, 9-7. And as we look at some of Shirley Choi's good form, Steve Rebillion's coming in to join you.
Yes, well, that's the opening bowl of the last end, Shirley Choi, and that was the set winner. Great response from Doreen Henkin. Also a toucher on the jack. So the best 2 opening bowls of the match, and Shirley again peppering the target zone. And what an incredible 4 shots played to set up.
The glorious unpredictability of sport, Shuey, we often say. 7-3 down, up to 3 and a 4 in the first few ends of the first set. Shirley Choi's made of sterner stuff. It's one of the things we sports lovers love about sport. No script. There's no telling what's going to happen. when we were looking at Shirley's semi-final, we were discussing the limited sort of indoor opportunities there are in Canada, but where she is in Vancouver, there's an indoor facility. Is it your feeling in bowls generally that we're going to see more and more indoor complexes around the world?
Oh, most definitely, Steve, especially in countries like Malaysia and Japan and China, India, where land is at a premium, and now a lot of them are on top of car parks and in buildings. Even in Hong Kong, there's one of the indoor greens, apart from the Hong Kong Football Club, is in a public sporting building, and it's got swimming pools, and it's got a bowling green on one of the levels. So yeah, and I think it's also great for TV, and I'm sure our viewers would enjoy the fact that the bowls are close to the jack. You haven't got the variable of wind or rain. Guaranteed performance. The atmosphere is fantastic. The crowd sitting on top of you, the noise.
There is the counter-argument, of course, about outdoor bowls is having to deal with the elements and
different
sun, wind, rain occasionally.
Well, that's right. It's a totally different game tactically, Steve. If your opponent on an indoor green has a bowl, let's say 60 centimetres away from the jack, you just draw the shot. Well, you should be able to draw the shot on the carpet, but on the outdoor green where Shirley plays, in Surrey, well, you drive at the bowl 2 feet away from the jack, or reach up and trail the jack away, or sit the bowl. There's more finesse required on a carpet than there is on an outdoor green. So it's a different lot of skill sets required.
Doreen's at Surrey. Mm.
Yeah. Mm. And she's got an indoor green there, which is the same surface as this carpet at Warilla. So she's used to playing on this type of carpet. And really coming at the moment straight off her indoor season. And I predicted an easy win for Doreen, but it's not happening.
Coming to the head to have a look. We're just coming recently off the back of very successful Commonwealth Games. Shui, India, New Delhi's going to be hosting in 2010, and what's their setup there? Are they going to have to build some greens, or they got some?
Well, it's incredible, Steve. They don't have any facilities for bowls at this stage, and the government are apparently going to pour a lot of money in Delhi to produce world-class greens within 4 years. That's quite possible. They'll no doubt build some synthetic greens as well. Also develop their own Indian side. And no doubt fly in the experts. At the moment, it's Shirley Choi holding one shot in this opening end of the second set. This is one of the best performances I've ever seen in a tournament for a real inexperienced player like Shirley, Steve. I mean, she's had no international experience. Look at this, just a grin to somebody in the crowd. Oh yeah, I'm going okay, aren't I? I'm enjoying this.
This will be big news back in Vancouver if she pulls this one off.
Well, she was never expected to even give Shima Ismail a fright in the semi-final, and she's loving the experience. And now she's in the final and saying, well, I'm the underdog. I'm not expected to beat this top English player, Doreen Hankin, and she's taken the first set.
Yep, keep the water on board. You tend to dehydrate under the lights and the tension, so she's doing the right thing there as well. Here we are, last bowl, first and second set, and Hankin might only be promoting that bowl of Shirley Choi, and that could be two. That could be a mini disaster for Hankin.
Well, she's conceding one.
Does Shirley want two?
Shirley will want the measure.
That's fair enough. It is close for second.
Looks like two from our rings.
You always favour the flat bowl if it's closer, Shuey.
This time I am favouring the flat bowl, Steve. The belly sticking out on the white disc bowl as Jeff McGilvray measures. Doreen was quick to concede one, and Shirley said, hang on a minute, might be worth a measure. She's going to be pleasantly surprised and pleased that she asked for the measure.
Oh, that's easily two. Well, so there's a dream start for Shirley Choi. And 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 6 ends in a row. Shirley Choi is now won. Take the first set and the start of the second. Shirley Choi opting to retain the mat, dictate the length, see if she can maintain the form. Well, there's no doubt that the momentum is with Shirley Choi. 7-3 down she was in the first 6 shots in 5 ends to take it 9-7, and another 2 at the start of the second. Shuey, I guess if she keeps playing well, the moment that might really sort her out is when she gets close to a victory.
Yes, although, Steve, you know, at the start of this match we saw the replay of her last bowl, the match-winning bowl against Shima Ismail in the semi-final. She was matched down, third in the tiebreaker, did not even walk to the head, had 30 centimetres of room and drew the match winner. So, you know, that says a lot in terms of her, you know, mental toughness in a crisis. She's drawing better. She's actually improved her drawing consistency.
Thank you.
This was the shot from the semi-final that we're talking about. She had the opportunity to go and have a look.
How
How
far
about
her
that?
last ball behind there?
And hardly a smile. Just all in a day's work. Biggest moment on the world stage for Shirley Choi, and it's an ideal bowl, not counting but covering the trail. She knows that Doreen will have to play weight or draw the shot on the forehand, trail the jack. So it's an ideal receptive bowl. See how Doreen on the backswing actually goes a little bit offline.
Doreen hasn't won an end since the 4th of the first set, and that was a maximum count. The match has just been flipped on its head, Shuey.
Well, after the first end of the match, Steve, you know, Doreen had 3 shots and Shirley had a bowl nowhere near it, and then a couple of ends later she picked up a 4. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be the easiest title I ever win, and not to be. I'd just love to know what's going through Shirley's mind. She'd be buzzing, I'm sure, inside the possibility of winning this match. A very important couple of bowls here just for the confidence for Doreen. Forehand, straightforward conversion shot, and as an international skip she should be able to convert on the carpet. Just overdraw weight, trail the jack or sit the shot bowl out. Expect to see some improvement from the previous bowl. She's on the charge.
Oh, can't take a trick. She was urging it on, clapping it to a good home, but it didn't quite find one.
Well, she's got 2 seconds now. So I'm not sure whether Shirley could possibly thread a passage. It is possible through here just to draw to that bowl and finish in that area. That would be the ideal shot. Cover and count. There's no danger on the backhand side. She has